Drive Timers! Hey, welcome to Drive Time with Alec. I am Alec, and welcome to a glorious, glorious Wednesday. So, I want to jump right into content today, guys, because it's a cool question by Joel from CrossFit. And Joel asks, hey, how do you deal with failure, and then he kind of started breaking it out, right? Like repeated failure at a specific task, or just kind of general failure on something you're trying to achieve and all that stuff. And so, I'm going to take the answer to this question in a different direction, but hopefully you will. It'll get you where we want to get here. So, first of all, Joel, thanks for the question. That's really cool. I appreciate you writing that in. And failure is an interesting thing. I have this experience when I teach new people how to lift heavy weight, and so when we're lifting heavy weight and we're going to do a max effort, right? So this is a good example in the physical world, but we're going to do a max effort. And so, how do you know when you get to your max effort? Right? And the answer to that is when you fail on the lift. I mean, that's how you figure it out, right? If you don't fail on the lift, then you haven't really hit your max effort yet. So, and of course, obviously, if your form's breaking down, that's a failure, right? That doesn't count, but my point is, you do not know what your max effort is until you actually hit failure. That's actually the turning point. That's when you know. So, failure in most situations is extremely crucial, because without failure, first of all, the victory has no real meaning, and you can't really gauge where you're at. So I think failure is a very, very important process in our growth as human beings and in the experience we have on this planet. So I think it's actually a really, really good thing. It's kind of like pain, right? Like if we didn't have pain, how would we know when we were not in pain and things were really good and things are great, and how would we have a reference to compare it to? So I think failure is important in that regard. Now, there's a couple things in failure though that where I want to take this question, and that is the people that are habitually failing in a goal they want, and it's a year-over-year failure. And so let me paint that picture, right? Let's take business and health. So let's start in business. Business failure, right? You want to make more money and you're in a sales position, or you want to get a promotion in your company. And year over year, it never happens, and you never break through that pinnacle, and you always stay in this kind of mediocre range that you consider mediocre for yourself, and you're never able to break through, and you consider that a continual failure. Every day you look up and you're like, I just keep failing. I don't break through the sales goals I want, I don't make the income I want, I don't get the promotion I want. Fail, and it's this repeating experience that you despise, right? And the health goal, very simple one. Overweight. I'm overweight, I want to lose weight. And every year, every week, every single period of time that you're measuring, you continue to not reach that goal, and you get more and more frustrated, and you become a failure, right? And so this just weighs on people and beats people up forever and ever. So that's what I consider the continual failing piece, like a goal. I want to do this at some point, and you never do it, right? And so you just consider yourself a failure. Well, okay, so let's back up here. Normally on those failures, on those levels of failures, guys, you're too macro. You're way too macro, and you need to take a slice out of the AA book to deal with that kind of life transformation, right? Whether it's losing weight or gaining the sales you want, you need to break up your wins, your victories, into the smaller pieces of what's really going on. So, literally, you have to make it a day thing. It can't be a week thing, or it can't be like measuring a month period. You have to measure and deal in a day, in a simple 24-hour period. So, if it's a weight loss goal, did you eat right and exercise today? That's your only focus. Every day that you wake up, you have to go that micro. On some of these big life issues where you could literally hit this repeating failures, there's so many other stuff deep in there that's causing you to hit those failures that are stuff you grew up with, stuff that was created in you when you're at a very young age, and tackling on a macro scale is extremely difficult. So, I would argue and push you to just focus on a day. When you wake up, what are you going to do on this day? If it's a sales-based thing, what are you going to do on this day? Don't worry about the week. Don't worry about what's going on. Just handle that day. And celebrate your micro goals. Celebrate those victories, because on that, you're achieving what you're setting out to do. And you overlook those things. You ignore those little wins because you focus on the big losses, and therefore you just continue to beat yourself up. And basically self-perpetuate this failure. There's a really, really good teacher that I've had the pleasure of being taught by named Gabriel Nosovich. And so he does a course called Excellence in Leadership, where one of the things he really teaches and pushes people on is you're ready for the change when you're ready for the change. Every time I've been taught by him, I've learned some massive insight into myself. And a lot of times he tells me that that's just I'm ready now to deal with it or hear it, and that's why I'm experiencing that breakthrough. So what I would argue for you guys and kind of push into your world, if you're dealing with failure on a repetitive basis, is realize that you will be through this when you're ready to be through this. And the fact that you're still in it means that you're not ready to be out of it. And that personal responsibility and ownership of that is very important. And then breaking this into micro goals, breaking it into a day-by-day experience where you're just going to celebrate your victories every day that you do them, and not worry about the next day, not worry about the week, not worry about your goal, but just what did you do that day? Did you take care of your body? Did you eat right? Did you make the calls you had to make? Did you plant the seeds with the referral partners you had to plant? What did you do on that day to take care of that victory? So, Joel, I hope that gives you some insight into your question, at least in my perspective on it. It's a tough question. Failure is a part of life. Rejoice in failure. Realize that on a max effort day, whether it's in business or life, if you don't hit failure, you didn't do it right. And so rejoice in the failures that come in. I mean, if you're in sales and you're not getting rejected, you're not selling hard enough. You're not out of your comfort zone. If it's a health goal and you're not, taking it a day by time, you're not, I experienced failure in health. I couldn't really go anywhere with that, right? Like, oh, I ate a piece of pie. No, that's not really experiencing failure in your health goals. But I hope you get what I mean. And so, Joel, that's a great question. I could talk forever on it. I want to wrap down because we're way too long. But I thank you for the comment. Anybody else, send me a comment. Send me anything you want. Subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. And take on today and make today a victory. Cool. Talk to you later.